Hi, we're live. How are you today? Thank you for joining us. I'm Betty Perryman, and this is Summer Hangouts with Betty. Today we're talking June brides attending and facilitating a happy affair when you've lost a bride-to-be. We're able to bring you today's broadcast from being sponsored by BettyPerryman.com. And my question to you listeners today who have joined us that are you facilitating a wedding or reception this summer? And has the family or any members of the family previously lost a bride or groom? Each Wednesday we will be discussing different aspects of facilitating summer events so that they will be easy breezy and try to meet some of the challenges and help you to prepare better for them to help your events flow a little bit more easily and so that your guests and your clients can enjoy them a lot more and actually join in the celebration. June is often thought of as the wedding regalia, or the wedding time of the year. Most of us dream about being a bride, and personally, I can tell you that living in the South, it's extremely and excruciatingly hot at times during June. So I always thought of myself as being a winter bride, and indoors. My husband, however, had different ideas about that. So when we married, it was in June. It was one of the record hot days of all time, and it was outside in the garden. We wore full formal affair, tux, formal gown, the whole gamut. It was so hot, even the cake icing wanted to melt off of the cake. But we did have our challenges because, as some of you may or may not know, I lost my children in a car accident. And so when it came to time to remarry years later, I didn't know how to share my anxiety, my frustration, and how to fill that void to make it more celebratory for me, because there was that extreme void in my life where my children could be participating. And my husband, my groom at the time, realized that there was an issue and that he could help me with that by getting to the root of my anxiety and helping me to create a more pleasant and more enjoyable experience for our wedding. So he came to me and he brought a bundle of baby's breath, and he quite sincerely offered the baby's breath to me and said, I would like to include the children in today's ceremony. Would you please carry this baby's breath as a symbol of having them here and be a part of this celebration today with us? And it just touched me. And in my years of helping to facilitate people through grief and loss to a happy life beyond, when we are transitioning, we want to celebrate again. We want to engage in activities that are, for everyone else, normal activities. Sometimes we don't know how. So that's what we'll be talking to you about today, and discussing how we can help you facilitate some programs this summer, like weddings and receptions, when we have lost someone, and help everyone in the family or the bridal party re-engage and actually take part and enjoy the ceremony. So let's begin. Welcome to Summer Hangouts, and I just wanted you to know that We're introducing facilitating happy summer events when the family is faced with sad memories associated with a past event. Um, you know, it doesn't always have to be through death. Some losses are just when people walk away. Maybe they got cold feet and decided that they just didn't want to get married for whatever reason. There can be some serious anxiety associated with being left at the altar. So we're going to talk about those, and we're going to discuss some different possible scenarios and address the ways to manage them if you're faced with them as a facilitator. We're going to discuss challenges of facing these events and the challenges as a facilitator where the family has experienced a loss for death or any number of different types of losses. We're also going to offer you some resource options, so stay put, and we're going to just dive right on in here. Are there any questions so far? Okay, well, great. The first category in the challenges of facilitating an event where someone has passed is parents of a lost bride. Believe it or not, there are instances where brides-to-be have passed for any number of reasons. One very famous instance lately is where a bride and her bridal party perished in a fire in a limo on the interstate in Los Angeles. That was extremely sad to me, and I am sure that the family members will hold that event for years and associate some very negative feelings with weddings and the celebration of union. So the first category would be parents. And again, they may feel apprehensive. They may not want to participate. They may have very sad and strong emotions associated with their loss. So we'll take care and manage that. Another challenge that the facilitator will face at times will be the bride herself, the new bride. Let's use the example that two sisters, we'll use younger and older sister. The older sister had been a bride-to-be and she passed, and now the surviving sister wants to celebrate her joyous occasion. She wants to shine and have the spotlight on her, and because her sister had been a bride-to-be and that was interrupted in whatever manner, she may feel basically resentment that her day could be shadowed by the memory of this loss. She may feel angry. She may feel ashamed with survivor's guilt. So there could be many variables playing in when a bride has lost a sister or other relative that was a bride-to-be. Another category that we want to make sure that we address is the groom. Let's just say the groom had been engaged before and had planned a wedding with his new bride, and she didn't show up at the altar. There can be some very, very serious feelings associated. When I say serious, I mean sad or forlorn, or even anger and resentment associated with the joy of the event of the wedding day. So those and other cases require special attention and consideration when you're planning to facilitate an event, whether it's a small affair or a very large scale, whether you're the minister performing the officiant services or whether you're the wedding planner organizer. Or perhaps you are meeting and coaching the bride and groom to be. um, either one of those, you're going to need to have a little toolkit that'll help you plan and with ease these events and to help you get organized. And we're going to talk about that now. How can you facilitate a happy event under these emotional circumstances? One, you can determine the cause or the circumstances of the loss. Was it a death? Was it an abandonment at the altar? Was it the bride, the groom, the mother, the sister, sister-in-law, brother-in-law? Who was it that was involved in the loss? And determine how will they be affected by this event emotionally. How emotionally charged are they toward attending and participating in this event this summer? So those are two very crucial questions that you must answer. And the way to get organized and find out is have a family meeting with the bride, her groom, and parents of the bride and the groom, and the extended family members, and ask and listen. Crucial to a free-flowing event. Sit down with the bride and the groom and determine their needs. If the bride has lost a sister, if the parents have lost a daughter that was a bride or on the honeymoon, if there was a case in Birmingham where a young couple married and then she drowned at sea on a vacation in Australia. So she never came back from her honeymoon. So as you can see, there are various needs that need to be addressed. What does the family need? Do they need for the person who is lost, do they need to include them in the ceremony some way? Do they want it private or do they want it public? A private example would be like my groom brought me the baby's breath, which was private to the two of us. We knew that we were including the children in our ceremony, but you can be very public. You could include a favorite poem of the previous bride that had been lost, or the lost loved one. You could incorporate a piece of jewelry. But we'll talk about that more later. There are expectations for the event by the parents or sister-in-law. They're going to be more concerned about what they feel others expect of them. So when you can bring the two groups together, the bride, the groom, and ask them what they expect of everyone, and ask them what they think everyone expects of them. Do that to each person participating in the dialogue, in the meeting, and then compare notes, because often what we think others expect of us is not what they actually expect of us, and what we expect of others is not what they think we expect of them. So reconcile the two, and I promise you, when needs and exceptions are determined, then you are ready to proceed with a plan of strategy to help this flow. Some are easy breezy. Let's see how we can do that. Here's some planning strategy for you. Include the lost bride in some private way. If the bride-to-be now wishes to have a more formal way to include their lost loved one, by all means, include them in the planning process. Include all of those who are emotionally attached to the past event. It will help them, I'm sure, to reconcile any highly charged emotions that they may have to where they can enjoy the event. Let's see. One example is if a sister has lost her sister or sister-in-law, she can include a photo of them in her bridal room or the reception area. We talked about a piece of jewelry that represents the missing loved one, a little angel clipped in. If the groom has previously lost a bride, perhaps a symbolic releasing of a butterfly or a dove prior to the ceremony, even with his bride-to-be, the night before, or I think I knew I've facilitated many as an officiant. I have facilitated weddings where there have been previous marriages. And so the night before, when they would have the rehearsal, they would release fireflies. The beautiful little flies at night. Oh, they're so pretty and yellow, and they just light up everything. It's just very gorgeous. And it's symbolic to release the attachments that they had to their previous spouse or spouse-to-be. And here's a special note on children. Always include the children, especially if they have personally experienced the loss, because they need reassurance that everything's okay and it's okay to move on, and that mommy gives her blessing or daddy gives his blessing. Reassure them and encourage them to participate in your events, and always encourage them to express their feelings to you. Whether they're happy or sad feelings, it's okay, and they need to know that and to be reassured. And they love to be included in the programs. There's so many different things that you can do. Offer them a bracelet, a memory, a necklace, a ring. There's so many different things. A balloon release to tell mommy or daddy that, you know, that they're enjoying the wedding today and how they wish they could be here. A little note, but to a balloon release. Very simple, and it includes the child in the ceremony, and they're able to embrace it a little bit more and become more involved where they can enjoy it as well. Do you have any questions? Any at all? Well, you can always watch the YouTube replay, and if you have questions, please send them to Betty Perryman, info@bettyperryman.com, and visit my website at bettyperryman.com. Also, if you would like more information on how to facilitate events, especially where there has been losses, please contact me at info@bettyperryman.com, and I'm going to also provide a link for you, and it is bettyperryman.com/products/the-facilitator. That is a PDF that gives tons of information on how to facilitate, what a facilitator is, what it does, what type of facilitator are you, and what kind of are you process, are you content, how to and when to, and I hope that you enjoy it, and you can get that on my website as well. Also, please know that I have a book, and it is Happiness Beyond Grief, Betty's Story, and I'll hold that up for you right here so you can see that. It is my story of my loss and how I managed to go through the grief and transition from grief to a happy life. And it's free to you today for joining me. Just go to bettyperryman.com/friends and get your free copy today. I thank you for joining me, And I invite you back each Wednesday this summer for Summer Hangouts with Betty, where we'll be talking about facilitating some awesome summer programs. And I thank you, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye now.